welcome you back to Chicago. Marv Albert, Matt Gukas, and Ahmad Rashad in what has been a dreaded fourth quarter for the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls do have the sizable lead, 79-65. The Bulls shooting 48% for the game to this point. And in the series, they have shot 48% over three quarters, but only 31% from the floor in the fourth. Let's see what develops here. Anthony Mason pumps it out to Greg Anthony. And a foul is called. Foul on Kukoc, his second. Let's go to Ahmad.
All right, Marv, during that quarter break, Phil Jackson telling his team to be very much aware of tempo control. He doesn't want them to let the crowd affect them emotionally. They don't need to try to blow this game out. Just try to do the things that they do to try to win the game. Marv?
All right, Ahmad. Yes, the Bulls trying to save their energy as Patrick Ewing opens up to cut it down to 12. Scottie Pippen is on the bench along with Horace Grant. Phil Jackson wants both of them full of energy for that final run. So it's Paxson and Kerr at the guard. Williams, Kukoc, Wellington up front. Williams on the follow. Scott Williams with his fourth field goal. He has given a big lift. 9 points for Williams. And the Bulls lead 81-67. Charles Oakley getting set to return for the Knicks. Kerr rejecting the pass from Anthony.
Oh, there's just no way you can make an entry pass to the low post where Greg Anthony is trying to do it. He's way up above the three-point line. He's got to take that ball below the free throw line extended to get a better angle. Greg Anthony's been a step slow all night. When the man leaves into double team, he doesn't seem aware when the ball comes back to him what he should be doing when he catches it.
Charles Smith replaced by Charles Oakley. Anthony and Starks in the backcourt. Again, Kerr got a piece of it. Shot clock at 1. Starks did not realize. 24 seconds violation.
Oh, excellent defense by Steve Kerr on a couple of deflections, and the Knicks really losing their poise there, unaware of the shot clock. Very poor execution, but give full credit to the defense of Chicago, in particular Steve Kerr.
Kukoc again guarded by Mason, but the call made away from the ball against the Knicks. John Oakley is fourth.
Well, playoff defense always is tough, but it really picks up in the fourth quarter, and nobody knows it better than these New York Knicks as Oakley battling for inside position.
Minute and a half gone by in the fourth. Scott Williams checking the shot clock. Here's Williams. Air ball. Off the scramble. Ewing lost it.
Everybody getting on the floor after the loose ball and dug out by Patrick Ewing, but just could not hold it as he flipped that ball out of bounds. And now I guess they're going to change the call.
Well, the Knicks were screaming for a 24-second violation, and apparently they will get that call. It is a 24-second violation against the Bulls.
Actually, it was very, very close as that ball just crossed the end line plane, and it still showed 1 second on the clock.
The claim is that the Knicks never had possession, that the ball was in the midst of a scramble. Foul called. Paxson a hold. Timeout being taken by the Knicks. We are set up for a furious finish. Bulls lead by 14.
Miller Genuine Draft presents Genuine Moments.
Today's Miller Moment takes us back to Game 4, last year's conference finals, the Bulls versus the Knicks, and it was vintage Michael Jordan. Jordan pulling out the full arsenal. He hit 18 of 30 from the field, including 6 of 9 from three-point range. He finished with 54 points as the Bulls won 105-95. Jordan bouncing back from a 3 for 18 in game number 3. In recognition of that moment, Miller Genuine Draft will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. 9:40 remaining. Fourth quarter. Chicago 81. The Knicks 67. Kerr and Paxson in the backcourt. Kukoc, Parker, right now with Williams up front. Rebounded by Mason.
Well, it's an indication of how much tougher the Knicks defense gets in the fourth quarter. On the first attempted penetration by Kukoc, Mason leveled them off, but then Kukoc persistently was able to drive by.
And Kukoc on the Anthony miss. Caught right. Starks knocked it away. Starks with the steal. And Anthony resets. Shot clock at 8. Mason easily around Williams.
Very difficult customer down on that last block. You just have to come down and double team him as we watch Scottie Pippen meditate over there as Phil Jackson trying to buy as much time as possible to have Scottie as fresh as he can be for the finish.
Horace Grant getting set to check back in. And a pushing foul called. Foul committed by Ewing. His second. Let's go over to Ahmad.
All right, Mark, during that last timeout, Scottie Pippen pulled me aside and said that even though he's resting, the game is so intense that he feels like he's burning energy even though he's sitting on the bench. Mark?
All right, Ahmad. Scottie Pippen with only 2 personal fouls. 8 of 16 from the field. He's had an outstanding game. 21 points, 6 assists, and 7 rebounds. And obviously, Phil Jackson looking to get maximum. Jackson with his second field goal. Bulls lead 83 to 69. And I would think very shortly, Scottie Pippen will be waved on. Foul committed by John Paxson.
Well, the Chicago Bull defense so far in this fourth period has been much more aggressive and forcing tough plays with the exception of when the ball goes inside to Anthony Mason.
Thus far in this fourth quarter, the Knicks and the Bulls have each scored 4 points. Offensive foul. Greg Anthony in a collision with Steve Kerr.
And Steve Kerr has been the catalyst in much of his defensive play in the fourth period with his quick hands, and that time moving his feet very well and maybe sticking out the leg a little bit to catch Anthony on the charge.
Nice move on a crossover by Kerr. 7 minutes, 40 seconds to go in the fourth. Kukoc putting the move on Mason. And then his pass picked off by Anthony. Starks. Offensive foul!
John Starks out of control here, and John Paxson slides way over, and really not a good call there as John Paxson was moving. The reaction by the Bull bench, they like it. Pat Riley, on the other hand, hated it, and John Starks really had to keep his poise and control and not jumping at referee Jake O'Donnell. Jake would have nailed him.
Big break for the Knicks. Scottie Pippen has checked back in. Bulls lead 83-69 as we come up on 7 minutes remaining. Fourth quarter. Here's Armstrong, who also just came back. Rebounded by Oakley. Miles Oakley with his 14th rebound. Anthony Mason looking to position on Scottie Pippen. It will be Chicago ball.
Well, as strong as Anthony Mason is, and Scottie Pippen saying he's the strongest guy in the league for him to deal with, he was able to nudge him way off his spot and force that earned pass and turnover by New York.
24th turnover by the Knicks. Chicago with only 10. Very difficult matchup for Pippen going against Mason. Cartwright. Back come the Knicks. Not able to get going to this point. This time, the foul is called on Paxson. Blocking foul on Paxson. That's his third. Timeout taken. 6:32 to go. Fourth quarter.
1977, Butterfly Collar. Walk outside with that on in San Antonio, now you'll burn up. Super Joy, tell us about that finger roll from the free throw line.
You know, that was my patent. That was my patented shot. One thing I could do was finger roll. Oh yeah, I can do that.
Welcome back to Chicago Stadium, 6:32 to go in the fourth quarter. This has been the story over the first 3 games in the fourth quarter, where the Knicks have had the advantage 28-15 in game 1 and so on, with the tremendous comeback in game number 3. Here Starks. Thus far, each club has scored only 4 points in this fourth quarter. The Bulls 2 of 6 from the field. Grant got the step. A side note to what is taking place here in the fourth quarter. The Bulls try to hold on. Should the Knicks somehow come from way back and pull it out, there is the prospect as Mason is able to hit on the driving hook with a 3-1 commanding lead. If the Knicks would win here today, the prospect of not returning to Chicago Stadium, which would mean this would be the finale for the Bulls. But the way things are going, as Scottie Pippen is able to penetrate, it appears that there will be a Game 6 back in Chicago on Friday night. Game 5 in New York on Wednesday. The Bulls now lead by 16, showing no signs of crumbling and receiving a standing ovation from this crowd.
Phil's warning to his club to not get caught up in the emotion with the crowd has to be very, very difficult. They have been a big plus for this team, and right now the Bulls playing with an enormous amount of confidence.
Just under 5 minutes remaining in the fourth. Starks played on a switch by Grant. Ewing. Mason on the follow. Anthony Mason has 13 points. Chicago 87, New York 73.
And Mason, the only one of the New York Knicks really able to do anything offensively for New York in this fourth period. Patrick Ewing rushing some shots right now, but give the credit to the Bulls defense. They're challenging every shot.
Kukoc for 3. Cartwright able to keep it alive. And a timeout taken by the Bulls.
Well, with 7 seconds on the shot clock, Tony Kukoc's going to set up beyond the arc and let fly with a 3. And obviously, Phil Jackson is very upset with it, as his assistant coaches, Tex Winter, Johnny Bach, and Jimmy Clemens almost had to circle the wagons around Phil. But Phil is now getting in some conversation with Tony to try to explain the situation. Phil very much aware of how tense things are with the healing process. I want to be very careful with his players.
The Bulls have an 87-73 lead, looking to tie the series at 2. Pippen, open shot. Scottie Pippen receiving many good looks. He has 25 with just under 4 remaining in the fourth quarter. Patrick Ewing, a very quiet game, only 14 points for Ewing. Anthony gets inside, and the tip by Oakley. Greg Anthony is now 2 for 10 from the field.
And he can go by Scottie Pippen on the drive anytime he wants. Pippen is out there just to give him a little thrust defensively, and then when the ball goes to a score inside, Pippen's going to come down and double team. But Anthony has to make him pay for being the roller defensively.
Bulls have a 14-point lead. Shot clock is at 4. It's down to 2. Pippen for 3. And Ewing running 2. Cartwright, ball for his third. That's Hubert Davis checking back in, replacing John Starks. Foul by Cartwright. The Bulls' 15th foul, so the Knicks will go to the line. A reminder tonight, after the game, We hope you stay around for an all-new Sequest adventure. And that's followed by Joan Rivers and her daughter playing themselves in a world premiere movie. Tears and Laughter, the Joan and Melissa Rivers story, after an all-new Sequest tonight right here on NBC. Ewing is 3 of 3 from the line. He has only 15 points. John Paxson, who has been getting the playing time in the second half, has come on for Tony Kukoc. The stat line does not tell the story on Kukoc because he was so significant in coming on early when Scottie Pippen picked up the 2 fouls and distributed the ball well. Picked up 4 assists in the early going and did a nice job to keep the Bulls alive.
And really where he made an even bigger contribution was at the defensive end where he normally struggles.
Just under 3 minutes remaining in the fourth. Tough defensive sequence here by the Knicks. Pippen with the fake on Mason. Oh, the hustle by Grant took it away from Ewing. Horace Grant with an outstanding all-around performance. Bulls with the ball, a new 24, as they nurse a 12-point lead. Shot clock at 5. Armstrong for Grant, and he is fouled by Ewing.
Horace Grant being very active on the offensive glass, going after everything, knocking this loose from Patrick Ewing to give the Bulls another possession. And then the penetration by B.J. Armstrong, something he's been able to do throughout this series, getting inside to draw the defense and kick off to Horace Grant.
How about the stat line on Grant? Now 17 points, along with 7 rebounds, 4 steals. The Knicks take a timeout. 2:28 remaining in the fourth. Bulls by 13. Well, with the Bulls up by 13 points, the Knicks going today without Derek Harper serving the first of his 2-game suspension. You know, you look at these numbers, they don't look that impressive, but Derek Harper is so important to this ball club because as part of the composite guard picture, they need Derek Harper because Pat Riley likes to shuffle. He'll use a bit of Harper, use all kinds of mix and match combinations, and Harper's defensive play and his penetration and his savvy as a veteran are certainly missed, and he will not be with the club for game number 5 on Wednesday.
With his pressure defense, he sets that tone, but also he gets the ball club into their offense much more smoothly than they did it tonight. Greg Anthony really had a disappointing ball game, just 2 for 11 from the field.
That basket counts and the foul. Not to say that if Harper were here, things would be different, much different, but he certainly is a loss for the New York Knicks. And they will not have him as he serves the second of the 2-game suspension for the involvement in the fight with JoJo England. Pippen on that rebound as Ewing came up short. We come up on 2 minutes to go in this fourth quarter. The Bulls lead 91-79.
2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
Paxson. John Paxson, 3 for 3 from the field. And he's played a big role out here today, as has Steve Kerr. Bulls lead 93-79. Anthony for 3. Davis on the follow. The tip by Oakley. Bulls 93. And the Knicks 81. Minute and a half remaining as the Knicks trap. And the Bulls able to get it to the front court. Pippen lost it. There's Herb Williams. For Patrick Ewing. So Patrick Ewing departs with 18 points. 10 rebounds. Bulls again did a good job on Ewing.
And Phil Jackson reminded his team of the last time out. He wanted to stop a possible flurry of 3-point shots and still wanted to double-team Patrick Ewing. A tall order, but he thinks right now his team can do just about anything they want.
Herb Williams with a second field goal, and the Bulls now lead by 10 as we approach 1 minute remaining in the fourth quarter. For the first time in this series, the Chicago Bulls able to hold on in the fourth. The Knicks would come from behind efforts in the first 3 games of this best of 7. Anthony called for the recheck. Here's Luke Longley replacing Bill Cartwright.
Well, the Knicks defense did what they normally do. They held the Bulls to 14 points so far in this fourth period. The only problem was they were only able to muster 18 themselves.
Chicago would like to use as much of the shot clock as possible. Out of 40 seconds to go in the fourth. And Armstrong just working it down. Not giving any fouls. Next foul will put them over the limit. Luke Longley. Bulls 95. The Knicks 83. Anthony for 3. And it will be Chicago ball. And this crowd responding to the Chicago effort. This coming off the controversy of game number 3 here on Friday night. Scottie Pippen taking himself out of the game. The Bulls blowing the big lead. Tony Kukoc hitting the game-winning shot. But this series is tied at 2. As they head back to Madison Square Garden, New York for game number 5 on Wednesday. And there will be a game 6 back here in Chicago on Friday. The final, the Bulls 95 and the Knicks 83. We'll be back in a moment. Well, the Bulls have even the series at 2. Scottie Pippen, 25 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. A huge turnaround game for Scottie, who was alongside Ahmad Rashad.
All right, thanks, Marv. Scottie, you told me before the game that you had put behind that incident on Friday. You guys certainly came out and played like that incident was all over with.
Well, definitely. I pretty much put it behind me. I apologize to the team and the field. And, I think it was stupidity on my part. But, that day is over with. And I don't feel like I have to apologize to anyone else. And I pretty much put it behind me, and now we're playing basketball.
And you ready to go back to New York?
Definitely. We'll step to game 5.
All right, congratulations. All right, back to you, Marv.
All right, Ahmad, again, the final, Chicago 95, the Knicks 83, Marv Albert, Matt Kukas, and Ahmad Rashad saying so long from Chicago.